boss out the window and got fired from my last job. Hot wired a city truck and turned it over in the mayor's yard.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
And good morning to Scott Snow. First one in this morning. You win nothing, but we're glad you're here. And the pride that you can carry knowing you're on the ball and the first one into the Wade and Carter Show this morning, brought to you each and every morning by the fine folks at Thrive Fuel and South Texas TV, as we are in the South Texas TV studio.
And after today, Scott, you can carry that through all the way until Veracruz opens up again on Monday.
That's right. You will wear that badge with pride today, Scott. And we should get in all weekend long. You can wear it.
Get into Veracruz today for the best Mexican food in town and enjoy everything going on there. The fair is fantastic.
Because if you don't do it today, you'll have to wait until Monday.
There you go. The Wade and Carter weather brought to you by the great folks at AT Deerland Feed. For everything you need, there's Deerland Feed. And I'm reminded every day, I look right over there next to our, tiny office beautification award that our succulent, is that a cactus? It's kind of an aloe vera thing.
Yeah, I think it's more of I think you had it right the first time.
Succulent. It's just such a great word.
It is a great
word. How can you not like a word that starts out like that?
Suck?
Yeah.
Like
great
this,
plant.
Like this show?
Right.
Three out of five. At least 3 out of 5 days a week?
That's what Christy Euchre said. Here's a plan for y'all. It sucks. But y'all are...
Kind of like this show. It sucks slowly.
There's a red funnel sitting over there. It says 99 cents on it. How do they make any money at 99 cents? It ain't about making money. They're trying to make friends.
It's a lost leader that they get you in. It's like the milk at the department store.
Happy days for you folks. Just got a notification that Sheriff A.J. Louderback's going to stop by and give us an update on life. Always great to visit with the sheriff. 76 degrees in Victoria, heading to a high today of 94. Kind of partly cloudy, mostly clear.
The autumn is here.
Yeah.
Not yet.
It's going to be nice. It's going to be great. It's a VEDC weekend.
Wasn't yesterday the first day of autumn?
I don't know. I know that it was 72 degrees on Wednesday when I walked out.
Oh,
Junior Samples makes a great point. 4 days till bingo. 4 days till I turn.
Tomorrow is the first day of autumn. I knew it was coming. The autumnal equinox.
Ultimate birthday. I turned 61 on Tuesday. That's a big day, right? 61.
Is it any bigger than 60?
I don't know. 61 means you're not driving the speed limit. 61 means nothing. It means nothing.
Just like every other day.
Yeah.
Closer to death.
Closer than we've ever been. Every one of us is closer than we've ever been to death.
That's exactly
the fiscal cliff.
Clift? Oh, that reminds me. For those of you that maybe have old protein tubs in your pasture.
I didn't know where you were going with that.
Well, no, because, we talked about the weather and Deerland Feed. Deerland will do like a rebate for you if you take those old tubs in, and they'll give you $2 off your next tub. They'll take those tubs off your hand and out of your pasture, and they'll give you $2 for them.
There you go.
Off your next tub. So there you go. I mean, you're going to buy tubs anyway, so you might as well save $2, and then you don't have all these tubs in your pasture anymore. Limit 8.
Yeah, they don't
at a time. They don't want a bunch of them, but they want some of them.
Recycling.
Yeah.
They don't want to start a countywide scourge of people going around stealing old tubs.
Yeah, exactly.
$2 is $2. How much does a tub of that stuff cost?
Depends on the brand and what you get, whether it's an all-in-one with the fly control, whether it doesn't have it.
So that it's got something in it where the cows eat it, it keeps the flies off of them?
Yeah.
Pure genius, folks.
Yeah.
Genius stuff. They used to have those things that they would suspend between two trees and the cows could walk under it. Cows are pretty smart. They'd walk underneath that, and next thing you know, they had no flies. I can't imagine standing in a field all day. They don't wipe their butt. Flies all over them. That would just be...
They're just kind of
terrible way to live.
Falls off the back like
and that's just in Ethiopia, much less right here.
It's just off the back like a waterfall.
Crazy.
Justin Glass is in. James Kurth. He says that fly crap in the tub doesn't work. I think it works pretty good, to be honest. I've noticed less. I had to get the all-in-one with the fly control the last time.
I think James Kurth has a lot of cattle.
He's got a few, I think.
Does he?
Yeah.
He's out there slapping flies with a dish towel. He's kind of a karate man. You know?
He's probably catching them with chopsticks.
Yeah, no doubt.
Junior Samples, good morning. Kendra Douglas, Scott Tomko says, welcome to the club, Brent. Lisa Poole, Sheriff Ladderback is on his way in. Bobcat Watley, Ricky King, Tammy Keeling, Mark Kurtz, Cody Bauman,
Scott's
Stuart Martin,
one click older than me.
Stephanie Conti.
Better looking, younger looking than me. He works. Plus, he barbecues a lot. It's a great weekend to put something on the pit.
Cody Bauman says, cows sound like the same as being 61. No butt wiping and bugs everywhere.
I'll call Dawn every now and then. I'll go, honey. She says, what, honey? She says, what do you want? Come wipe my fanny. You're gross. I'm like, well, someday you're going to have to.
Just practice.
She goes, no, let me tell you what I'm going to do. She goes, I'm going to get one of those wheelchairs.
Bidets.
A wheelchair that has this part of the seat cut out. She goes, I'm just going to take you out in the yard, flip you up in a wheelie, and we'll hit you with the water hose. Nice. The power douche. Take me out there.
Matt Boucher, Dottie Bitterly, Greg Garcia. Good morning, everybody. Folks, nursery area, including myself, without power yesterday. I heard as far as Thomaston, pretty good explosion at the little transformer right on Nursery Drive there.
It's great. Dawn showed me a video. Somebody, it was a female voice. She's on the phone.
Yeah, I think she was trying to call VEC.
And she was trying to call them, and her husband, like, uses an expletive as he's like, you know, as the thing blew up. And it
was kind of...
And then it went
sudden.
Boom! Yep. And, like, sparks flew everywhere.
But
really lucky it didn't spark a grass fire of some type.
Yeah, but really, you know, hats off to the folks that... Victoria Electric Co-op, South Texas Electric Cooperative that got things back online within about 3 hours. So
if everything would have been run on batteries, we wouldn't have had this problem.
Well, it did make you think, though, that there's no redundancy for these things, right? I mean,
no.
Cheryl looked at me. We should have got a home generator. We should have called Went.
Well, if you call Went Services, they'll come out and do a turnkey generator quote for you. I'm talking about they will set the pad, put the generator on it, make the connection to your fuel source, whether it be propane, natural gas, whatever, diesel, and then they'll make the connection via a certified electrician to your home.
Purple gas.
Yeah, you can probably use that red gas, whatever.
But yeah, they'll do it for you. Whole home, none of these 6,000 watters that they claim are whole home, and it's basically as big as the one you buy.
Oh, yeah. 24 kW,
yep.
air-cooled. So that's Cody Bauman talking trash about my butt wiping. All right.
They self-test every month, so you know they're going to work. And they're good to go, so give the folks at Went a call. But yeah, but it did make me think. There's no redundancy in our grid, and this administration seems to think that we're just going to be all EV by 2030.
It's not going to happen. Doesn't work in Texas.
Here's the thing. You know the thing.
The first thing?
The first thing.
That's the one thing. Yeah. After that, you have two things. It's the two things.
Sounded like the leader of this administration when I talk like that. The mandates will work because they'll tell you that this is what you have to do and there'll be nothing left. But because that's the only part of the actual mandate that will work is the mandate that you must drive an EV. People won't be able to drive them. The grid won't be able to handle it. Like that idiot from the Department of Energy who was getting people to block her chargers for her as she tried to make her way across the country in an electronic vehicle. It's just crazy stuff. Donald Trump talking tough on immigration as he's trying to get ahead. He's catching some flack from the union workers because, or at least, what's his name? Sean Fain, the United Auto Worker boss. Because Trump's one of those billionaires that made billions off of the backs of American workers.
Yeah, I'm not buying that.
And he's planning to talk to the United Auto Workers next week while the rest of the Republican field is debating at the Reagan Library in California. Trump's going to be supposedly trying to talk to United Auto Worker members. But so yesterday he gets tough on illegal immigration and immigration, which kind of goes in line with protecting union jobs a little bit. Although unless you know somebody in the union, you're not getting in the union. but said he would expand his travel ban to deny entry to all communists and Marxists to the United States. Promised to relocate thousands of troops presently stationed overseas and put them on the U.S.-Mexico border. Said the Navy would actually be in charge of protecting our waterways and trying to guard against fentanyl coming through overseas into this country, which is kind of the way they're also doing it through submersibles and things that the cartel have.
That's just a great comment. We guard other people's borders, but we don't guard our own.
Would move DEA, ATF, and FBI into immigration enforcement roles because ICE has just basically been neutered and can't do anything under this administration to try to get people out of this country.
Do you really need the Navy to do it?
Well,
because
the water,
there's water?
yeah, probably. They have the ships to do it.
Do you need ships? I mean, I'm thinking, so we're not talking about the southern border. We're talking about ports.
Would invoke a federal law granting himself the unilateral power to detain and deport non-citizens who are 14 years and older. Would use the Alien Enemies Act to target suspected gang members, drug dealers, and cartel members. Does anybody have a problem with this other than the left?
I don't.
I don't have a problem with any of this.
Right?
Here's the you put our troops on the border, Mexico will cry loudly.
Oh, of course.
But you know what'll stop happening? You will no longer see the game camera footage that's being posted on social media of cartel members walking across shallow parts of the Rio Grande with the assault weapons the left hates in this country in their hands. We probably won't hear stories of cartel members shooting at our DPS across the river and the border anymore.
See, to me, that's unacceptable. When that happens, honestly,
Open
when that
up.
comes up,
Yep.
here come the rockets. Napalm, strafe the beach.
Napalm.
I want some Agent Orange. I want the whole thing.
But I agree with you. You have a pretty good idea
it's
who's
not
shooting at
Mexicans doing it. It's
it's
hired
cartel.
guns from the cartel. And so you can't really hold the Mexican government accountable because it's
Well, yes,
the
you can because they're one and the same these days.
Well, that's what I was going to say. You're trying to hold somebody accountable who's in the eye of the storm. They're the ones.
Well, Vincent,
On
Renee
a
Metting,
Friday-
BJ Nelson, Daniel Wade White, Ricky King. But does anybody, seriously, all of you watching, listening, give us a call, 361-894-4020. Does anybody have a problem with Donald Trump talking tough and then, if elected in 2024, enacting these measures come January 20th, 2025? I'd like to know because I certainly don't.
See, all the people up north are going to freak out. They're just trying to get a better life, and they're forgetting that, like, the mayor of New York is now going, please do it. Please do it. I mean, I don't want to be the one to do it, but somebody's got to do it. 'cause
He
we ain't
won't
gonna replace
publicly
these
say
people.
that, but privately he's probably thanking Donald Trump for talking tough
Absolutely.
on it because they can't handle $10,000 a month, and we're getting $100,000 a month in Texas.
Yeah.
Amanda
That's
Smith
what nobody
King,
gets.
Stephanie Conti says, nope, no problem with it. Greg Garcia says, funny how people in the northern states didn't think the border was a problem until it arrived on bases, in their neighborhoods. And absolutely.
And that's why I'm kind of proud of Governor Greg Abbott for saying, hey, you know what? You want to call yourself a sanctuary city or state? Here you go.
And what do the folks in Martha's Vineyard freak out over? A busload of 48 illegals being dumped off in their doorstep, and they went
were
nuts?
so loving and caring until they started showing up on Martha's Vineyard.
But seriously,
Now you want to get serious.
drug cartels would be designated as unlawful enemy combatants, which would allow for U.S. military intervention in Mexico. I
I don't have a problem with that. I don't.
do and I don't.
Why? Why you got a problem with that?
Well,
Might
we're
lead
putting
to a
our-
war. All we do is kick their ass.
Putting our military in
Why? That's what they
harm's
do.
way.
That's why they're here. They can't wait to go down there and whip those people's butts. That's what
He
they
says
do.
he says his plan would extend Texas's border barriers, including the controversial floating ones in the Rio Grande. So good. He'd take it and make it a federal responsibility.
He'd basically say, if you step off that shore, no, you can't come hang out in the middle of the river.
He would complete the border wall.
The border wall is so symbolic to Trump. It's inarguable, right? If I put a barrier, the correct size barrier, then I can keep you out. I get that.
Or funnel you where you need to go.
There's the point. I'd like to see us just say, if you want to enter our country legally, be one of the million a year. See, we do things in terms of dollars, and we don't think about that.
No.
It's 10 times the number of people that live in our entire county are welcomed with open arms legally every year at our southern border.
And all borders.
It's plenty. It's plenty. If you want to make it 2 million, tell you what, I'll push it up to 2 million a year if you let me build the wall and shut down all the illegal immigration.
He aims to reinstate the Remain in Mexico policy, restore previous asylum restrictions.
Yeah, don't let them come over here and then move to Detroit while they wait for their hearing that they're never going to attend.
Well, and there's the problem, because they're illegally claiming asylum when they get here because they should have done it when they first got to Mexico or Panama.
But they're paying taxes because they buy stuff.
Yeah.
They're paying taxes.
What a bunch of crap that is, right?
They only work for cash. Their employers are all IRS tax evaders, which is a federal crime.
You know, that's the only part of this, though, that Trump is not. And nobody really wants to do. They don't go after the employers that do make it enticing for folks to try to come here illegally.
Yeah.
Dottie Bitterly has no problem with it at all. She has the problem I have is waiting that long to implement. Well, it's not going to happen now because this administration wants, and in fact, we talked about earlier this week, Biden wants to allow more asylum.
You will know their agenda
Seekers.
when they say, don't ever forget, we're the party that gave you citizenship. We're the party that gave you the right to vote.
Oh, wait, the Republicans did that under Reagan, too. Don't forget.
But that's what's coming. Yeah, I know, but that's what's coming.
Yeah.
It's all politics.
And I just wonder, I mean, Trump says he's going to get tough on enforcement. Can you go into neighborhoods and start just pulling people out who are here illegally? I don't have a problem with it. I just don't know if you could logistically get it done. But I think what you can start doing under this new policy, if Trump's reelected, is you pick up somebody who breaks the law after breaking the law to get here.
Yeah, send them back.
No more of this Biden-esque policy of not sending them back and deporting them. You're gone.
Yeah.
And you know what? You want to start microchipping folks? Microchip these folks. Or do something with biometrics so that when they show up at the border the next time or they get caught, it's easy to determine who they are.
Roy Gutierrez adds, hearings are so backed up now. They're getting court dates in 2025.
Yeah, but that's such a scam because they're not showing up at their court hearings.
No.
I listened to a gentleman this morning on the way in who's former Border Patrol and now covers the border as a reporter. And the dates, I mean, they're sitting there with a full docket of immigration hearings and there's nobody in the courtroom.
Right, it's just a formality. Read their name into the record and show that they're not there. Well, what would you do if you come back and you know that you didn't really claim asylum legally, so if they have a hearing, they're going to kick you out?
Well, because I don't have a job in my country. That's not an asylum reason. That's the problem. That's why they all claim asylum, but they don't have legitimate claims to asylum. So they're playing the game to get released into this country with a promise to appear, knowing that they really don't have to appear, and the Biden administration will not do anything to enforce it or go after them.
True story. What did B.J. Nelson say?
He says, I wish while they are in luxurious hotels in New York, they would use the ballrooms to teach citizenship classes and English classes.
There you go. I'm not sure they're eligible for citizenship classes, but
You're here illegally, you're not.
It'd certainly be nice to learn some English.
But doesn't that then just make it easier for them to hide as illegal immigrants in this country?
You know what's bad is I'm not even so against some of them being here. I'm just tired of them being here. Get out of Texas. Go live in Iowa. Take over some part.
Well, let's revamp the whole system. If the government says, well, they're doing the jobs Americans don't want to do, then you know what? Let's figure out some sort of guest worker program. Or let's revamp welfare and put Americans back to work doing those jobs that they don't want to do because they're getting too damn much money for sitting around able-bodied only, I'm talking about, to not do the jobs.
Well, then you'd have, so here's what you'd have. You'd have the undocumented workers program, and they would say you work for $6 an hour, which is 5 times what they make in their home countries. But then some white liberal female from New York would decide that they deserve a living wage and that they should be making $27.50 an hour, even though they're not legal and don't.
Have you
pay
tried to get a
taxes.
hotel room in New York? They're $500 a night in the summer. They're making living wages.
Exactly.
He just says at least when their children came to our schools, they would know the history of the country they have chosen to sneak into.
True story. They don't really want you to know.
No, and no.
The government.
Tom Price checking in. I find it. I think, I like what I'm hearing from Trump on immigration. I don't know that all of it could be managed, but you know what? If we've got to put money into immigrate, I'd rather see 87,000 new ICE agents hired than 87,000 new IRS agents. Absolutely.
They already get enough taxes. Why don't you do a quick break? I'll set up the cameras for Sheriff Louderback. B. Small wonders why we don't just buy another
camera. We don't have room. Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. Allen's, our go-to Toto, should be yours as well. If you're out on the roads this weekend, hopefully you'll travel safely and you won't need anything. But if you do, Allen's is the one to call, 578-6300. It'll get you back on the road safely or get your vehicle and you where it needs to be. The VCS Company is the only locally owned and authorized AT&T retailer right there on Kerr Boulevard. They help power the Wade and Carter show, and they can help power your life. Power goes out, they get those little battery pocket chargers. You can go get one of those, keep it stored up, ready to go when you need it. All the accessories you need, the iPhone 15, available at the only locally owned and authorized AT&T retailer. Part of the
there you go.
Companies. Chesney Furniture Company, 116 West Wan Lynn. What, 106 years? Got to be at least about 106
Something
now, right?
like that. They've been going on forever and ever, for over almost 80 years in their current location. Dawn and I walked through last weekend, and Dawn just said, what a beautiful store.
They got some great stuff.
They've got, of course, they have some appliances. They have all kinds of, obviously, furniture.
American-made stuff.
Tempur-Pedic bedding. Maytag,
Whirlpool.
They've got it all. Victoria East High School wins it all. You get it all free. Free. Chesnick Furniture, there's the Wade and Carter deal. If Victoria East High School wins the 5A, big 5A school, 6A state championship, all your furniture's free.
6A. I like how you make it. They got to win the 6A. They can't play for it, but they got to win it, and we'll give you everything for free.
It's all free. Free. Chesnick saves you money.
And don't forget, Tuesday.
Oh, Palace Bingo, where friends meet friends. Come on out.
Yep. Brent's birthday bingo.
We always have a good time.
We always do. Maybe you'll win on your birthday as a present.
There's not a chance. What I'm always curious about is, I think like there's an over and under of how much junior will they tolerate. You know what I mean? Hey, Kendall, there's Kendall Carter checking in. How much junior samples will they tolerate? That's the question. Because I've had the guy saying, let's play this damn game. Get you hold it down over there at table 6. Juniors are there going, so I was in Bangkok with a bunch of rubber ducks on a ship. And just, crazy. It's crazy, man.
Renee Medding says any person who enters this country illegally should not be given anything but the boot back to where they came from.
There you go. That's Renee Davenport Medding. Could be a serial killer.
Could be. 3 names.
Names.
BJ Nelson, 4A. No, we want to win the 6A. We're not settling for 4A.
Yeah, we want to win the whole thing.
That's right.
For free furniture.
Peter Ranella says the old Bracero program worked fine. Can we revive it? I'm not familiar with it. I'll have to look that one up.
I don't know.
That might predate all of us, Peter.
I haven't figured out how. I know it's a matter of wagering and laying off money and hedging your bets and all that. I don't know how Mattress Mac last year.
Last year he won all his money in Vegas to pay for it all.
But he gave away $75 million worth of furniture. I mean, it's on their webpage.
And what did he win?
So
like 20 some odd million in Vegas on his wagers or something like that?
I don't know. It's crazy money.
I mean, there's insurance programs for that stuff, right?
I guess. What do you think Kendall Carter's doing up at 7:25 in the morning?
Getting ready to go make $1 or $2. She's a hard-working young lady.
Middle of the month?
Or she's still off gallivanting around the country.
Or is she in Florida? I don't know. I don't know. You never know where she's at.
Do you think the fact that he's financing that stuff for the few months till the Astros win it helps him pay for that? The interest?
I know that I think the math is if you go into his store and you buy something that's worth $5,000, you pay 10 for it, but he'll finance it for 15 months for free. Okay, that's fine. If I front load all the interest into the price, I can finance it for free. I'm charging you effectively, 50% interest up front. So it's very interesting. It's all.
I can't keep up with all the things you can buy in his store.
It is an unbelievably sized furniture store. And it started out as an assemblage of just like, it was uninsurable. Metal buildings, leaking roofs. He had to sell it quick because every time it rained, he ruined furniture.
Kendall says she's driving to work. She's no longer gallivanting around the country.
Kendall, it's up to you. 361-894.
She's using voice text to send these.
4020.
Of course you are.
894-4020. You got some courage.
Buddy Stavanoa checking in. Good morning to you, buddy. Hope all is well.
You could call us right now and say hi to Sheriff Louderback.
She don't want to call.
She's not
She's got
scared.
better things. She's not scared, but she's got better things to do than talk to a bunch of old guys like us. Old guys like you.
Tell you what, the more money she makes and the more taxes she pays, the more she thinks like this old guy right here.
Absolutely.
I'm proud of her. She works hard and she's a smart lady.
Rupert Murdoch gonna finally hang him up. I had thought he already had kind of done this.
I thought he had too, because, Rupert Murdoch's got to be, pushing 90?
92 to be exact.
Goodness gracious, how much is enough?
His son Lachlan's going to take over. From what I understand, his son Lachlan's the driving force behind all of the semi-liberal changes that you've seen at Fox News over the last year.
How do you think that's coming around? Nobody makes it more apparent that it's all about entertainment, honestly, than Fox.
Well, you know what's interesting? If you look at how things have gone, the media industry as a whole, the analysts are wondering how Fox could survive when they let Bill O'Reilly go. And O'Reilly was pulling in about 6 million viewers a night.
Yeah, he was he was as big as David Letterman.
And
kidding.
And then Tucker Carlson comes along and kept the network afloat, and he was only pulling in about 2 million viewers a night. Maybe 3, about half of what O'Reilly was pulling in. And I don't know that they're going to be able to find somebody to even get half of that now.
Well, where do you find that? Americans still want
a
It's
nightly
like
news source they can
they
trust.
want
Yeah.
Walter Cronkite. They want somebody that they have the illusion is neutral. Walter Cronkite, a huge liberal, personally, but really a good quality newsman as far as telling you, and that's the way it is. September 22nd.
Well, they didn't mix opinion with news back then. It was
Right.
it was factual, and you had to get 3 sides to the story, not just one side or 2 sides.
Everything's People Magazine now. It's got to be 10 seconds or less, and it's got to make you think about it for 2 days.
And it's got to make you feel good when you read it, listen to it, hear it, right?
Or make you feel bad, like, oh, I'm white. I suck.
Or that.
Yeah, I'm a white guy. I'm bad. I'm a scourge.
New York Post might actually be about the only real credible.
And isn't that something?
Fuck.
The New York Post is a tabloid. It used to be a joke in New York City. New York Times was the standard.
Yeah.
Now the New York Times is just like, it's a bunch of liberals. What did our Sheriff Marr say right there?
So good morning, Victoria County. Thank you for the overwhelming show of support last night.
Yeah,
a lot of
that's-
people showed up at his campaign kickoff.
And do stay tuned, Sheriff. We've got Sheriff Louderback here. We're going to get some like roving eye, man on the street reports about that event last night. I heard, and I want to get some details from the sheriff in a minute, but we'll get some details about the nice outpouring of support from regional sheriffs and what that means to him and to Sheriff Marr. You want to take one more quick break?
Yeah. Scott Tomko says Walter Cronkite was the illusion of being neutral.
Yeah, I agree. And there's nothing wrong with that because you're right. He was the illusion. He was a big liberal.
But you really didn't know he was a liberal until after he was off the air.
Correct.
And maybe till after he died.
He had that, his do you believe in miracles call, his call was the death of John F. Kennedy.
Yeah.
TV was still relatively a new platform. And he said, President Kennedy died today in Dallas, Texas. It was a
Matter of fact,
life-changing moment for the nation. Where are we at on our
Gray
calls?
Barn. Stop on by the Gray Barn today.
10-ish, it's Friday. She may or may not be there.
That's right. Go see Cheryl. Lots to buy, lots to do, lots of
Poutine.
flowers that she'll make for you. I just made a rhyme.
Wow, lots to buy, lots to do, lots of flowers she'll make for you.
She's cringing at that one now.
She hates your guts. Atzenhofer and Atzenhofer.com. Since 1926, Atzenhofer is Victoria's dealership.
But not just for that rhyme.
No, for so many valid reasons. I got sometimes Dawn hates on me, and I'm like, well, you know what? That's a good point.
Yep.
What you said there, that was good. She told me one day she hates it because I chew ice. And she said, I'm going to leave you. I go, nobody puts that like in a divorce decree. Why? He chews ice.
No, but she's wishing she put it in your prenup.
Right?
AJ's detailing.
You guys ought to see the White Raptor. It is out of control. You saw
Post
this
the pictures yet?
morning. Nah,
not
too
gonna.
lazy.
Yeah.
Way too.
If AJ didn't take him, you're not
I
taking
was
him.
too eager to get in and drive it.
Yeah.
AJ's detailing right there on Main Street between, I guess, Airline and Crestwood. Beautiful. He's got great facilities. He's got all the right gear. He's got this little thing that's looks like a little horn, but it blows air, and it's got a little, it looks like something you could probably use in the bedroom. But at any rate, you take this thing, and you can run it through like all the seams in your seat. It just stirs up and blows all the dust and stuff out.
It's awesome.
It's fantastic. I'm going to try to borrow that for the weekend. Can you imagine the kids in the living room? Hear that compressor kick in. Dad and Mom are at it again. Armor Air for
Get all the dust out of your seams.
all your air conditioning needs. 579-0966. Let Armor Air help you. Make sure your coil is clean. Your compressor is working right.
Dryer's not leaking.
It's funny thing about air conditioning systems, they either work or they don't work. There's
And when
not
they
a-
don't work, it's always
Oh.
when it's the hottest time of year.
Absolutely.
But you're gonna need the H part of your HVAC
Absolutely.
coming up here soon, and so you'll want to get them to check that out for you. as
Chopping block
well.
for the weekend. Get in and get some meat. They've always got specials. They've got a special on sausage, pork steaks,
fajitas.
fajita beef, $11.99 for fajita beef. Get in to the chopping block today. Stock up on beef, chicken, chorizo. They've got boudin. They've got it all. Go in there, beautiful. That place is really well laid out. There's a ton of meat in there, no kidding. Go by today. And then White Trash Services for all your weekly dumpster, roll-off, demolition, site clearing, site prep, or site grading of land.
They can do all that for you.
550-1826. Reach out to them. The Astros update. Astros didn't lose. I talked to Sheriff Louderback yesterday. He goes, what did the Astros do, dog? I said, well, they didn't play. And he goes, well, good, they didn't lose.
Exactly.
We always win bye week. We win travel day. Astros start a series tonight with the Kansas City Royals in Kansas City. Got to win these games. The Royals are terrible.
I think they're at home. Then they're on the road.
Are they at home?
Yeah, they didn't travel. Kansas City was traveling to them.
They got a day off at home. I hope Jordan Alvarez didn't cut his finger slamming in a door.
At least we know our shortstop won't get hurt at home.
Yeah. Dubon's what? Dubon is not Dubon, but
Pena.
He's single.
Yeah, this is our last homestand this weekend.
Look
Royals tonight.
There
102 losses for the Royals.
Donnie coming in bringing value. The Chopping Block presents Philly Friday. Thinly sliced ribeye, cooked to perfection. Oh, they're having ribeye. Oh, man, they're having Philly cheesesteak at the trailer.
Oh, okay.
Look at that.
Yeah,
Look at
might
that.
have to go
Oh,
get one
my
of those.
goodness. Go to the Chopping Block.
Don't even have to go to
page.
Philly for those today.
No.
There's my cousin Jared. He says he got to sleep in a little bit this morning. So
Jared
glad you joined us.
Hey, the Kraken.
More U.S. troops deploying to Eastern Europe, 101st and 82nd Airborne, according to James Kurth. More money being promised by Biden yesterday.
The Pentagon saying that even if the government shuts down, we're not going to stiff Ukraine. We're going to keep pumping the funds and the people to them. I don't understand all these Congress people that are like, well, we're going to stand with Ukraine. Well, then why don't we just send about 200,000 troops over there, whip Russia's ass, and wrap this thing up? Why do we keep toying around with it? Why do we keep playing war? Vietnam went on for 30 years because of that garbage. Just go over there, whip their ass, and get it over with. Go over there and tell Putin. Tell Putin, hey, you really want to fire off a rocket?
Putin?
Bring me a rocket. I got him in Munich. I got him in Poland. Let's just do this. Tell China, sit this one out. Sit this one out, COVID provider. This has been building for a long time. Putin doesn't care anymore. He's 100 years old. He's not in great health. He hates the West. He's a KGB agent to the core.
Absolutely.
He wants it. He wants to push that button. Call his bluff. I have a feeling I really believe that most of those Russian missiles are made out of paper mache. They never had anything to really do anything with.
You got a point there.
They're all paper mache. Go over there and call his bluff. But I get tired of all these tough-talking Congress people. We're going to stand by Ukraine. What, the American people don't have the stomach? And the same mamby-pambies that will say, well, we can't turn our back on Ukraine. They're the ones that will say, no, don't send my kid over there. Yeah. If you want to whip them, then go whip them.
What did Biden promise him yesterday? Like a couple of $100 billion more?
It's just money. We just print it, so it doesn't matter. Enough of our rant. Let's get our you got the music ready? You got the cue? You got the mic up? You're the man. Let's get America's Sheriff in here. Hello, sir.
How are y'all this morning?
We're good.
Good. How are you?
Good.
Well, I got
good,
you.
Doing well.
I tell you what I'm going to do. Y'all keep talking. You going to move that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you a little close there.
Extreme close-up.
You look good. How are you, sir?
Good. Doing well.
Welcome to the program, per usual. You know you're
Thank y'all, as always.
always much more than welcome. You're invited. Want to make sure that things are going well. You attended last night the you're good. You can move that one. You attended last night the function for Justin Marr. Tell me how that went, and what just your first impressions. You've been on every side of that. You've been elected numerous times. You've been. Did you get an atmosphere there of intense support?
It was an outstanding event. First and foremost, quite a few people. The room was packed for most of the 2 hours that the event was held. Outstanding show of support. The Texas Sheriff's Regional Alliance. Had 7 sheriffs there, which we got up and talked about a tribute to.
That says a lot.
Yes, to the trust that we've all come to know and appreciate from Justin Marr, and his role as a sheriff in this region is understated. He's one of the largest counties around us here, and always willing to help. And the area sheriffs around here have grown to trust him, and are committed to each other to make this region one of the safest that we can.
It seems to me, and Ash, I know you hear people on the street all the time talking as well, but the perception is, I've never met anybody in the community that wasn't 100% behind the Regional Alliance. And the idea that these like-minded sheriffs have bound together and create essentially a unified front where they communicate with each other, they run operations together, they curtail the cartel together. How much of a dent do you feel that they put? Because this is like, the crossroads is not always a positive thing. It can be the crossroads of where all the fentanyl goes.
It is the crossroads where a lot of fentanyl goes.
Of a dent do you feel like the alliance, or the Sheriff's Alliance makes?
It's almost immeasurable, because since 2006, when the formation of this with myself and T. Michael O'Connor and Carlos Carrizales out of B County, where the nucleus that started this whole issue, started the concept and the idea that having a group structured like this with infrastructure, we're now a 501(c) and a 501(c). So we have a board, we've got infrastructure, we have everything in place that we always have, and this is, like I say, been going on since 2006. So I think in the state of Texas, I was told last night that someone searched and couldn't find any group like this whatsoever in the state, and very few groups like this that they found in the nation. And I never researched that, so I said, well, that's interesting. I'll talk about that a little bit. But it's really an outstanding tribute to the sheriffs that showed up last night, and the sheriffs that continue to attend our board meetings and work together.
Well, I think it's one of the many strengths that Justin Marr brings to our community, is that for years he was a patrol deputy. He's been on those SWAT raids. He's been on those car chases. He's been a boots on the ground. I know that's an overused term, but he's been a boots on the ground individual.
Yeah, he's come up through the ranks
in our community. To say that he gets it is an understatement. I've been very, very thrilled.
Clearly, he understands the problem. He's just very well tuned in to the entire area, and the guys. They really it comes down to a matter of trust, and that's what he has.
Junior Sample says, I always support our local sheriff until the blue lights are behind me.
Right.
Just clean that up.
I haven't.
One way to keep them from behind you, Junior, don't speed.
I haven't talked to Marshall O'Connor in a while, but you got to figure that T. Michael's proud that somebody that worked under him, worked in his ranks, has taken the department or the office to kind of the next level. I think that Justin's done yeoman work. So
you've spent a lot of time on the border, Sheriff, and we talked a little bit about, as you were coming in, some of the things that Donald Trump talked about yesterday in unveiling his new border plan. Some of it we know, the border wall, trying to deport. What do you make of it? Is it rhetoric as we gear up to election? Is it something that will help him win an election? And if he does, how much of it could actually be put into place and enforceable?
Yes, it'll help him win an election. And yes.
Is it more than rhetoric, though?
Yes, it has substance because he's already done it. His last 2 years in office, the border had never been as stable as it had.
In reality, it still wasn't as stable as it could be, which shows you how far it's fallen.
Absolutely, it was. But Remain in Mexico is the program. So, and I'll give a firsthand view of what happened and what's going on right now today in El Paso and Eagle Pass, where the migrant surge is taking over. What I'm seeing down there in my weekly trips to the border is I saw a massive amount of working together. Like in Eagle Pass and Shelby Park, there's a tremendous accumulation of resources there in Shelby Park. It's a processing center that they put together to handle this group. So even though where they go from now, the migrant surge currently right now this week, where they go, we're not sure. But they've been processed at least. They've been fingerprinted, and they've gone through the federal process of that. So many times in a lot of these surges, we haven't been able to do that. So I at least want to say that everybody, Texas Department of Public Safety, playing a huge role here. Texas National Guard assigned.
And this is no thanks to the federal government at all, is it?
No, this is $10 billion of Texas money. But we also have complete support of the U.S. Border Patrol. In the meetings I've been into for the past month, the Border Patrol is doing everything they possibly can within the limits that this administration has given them to perform their duties. And their ranks are depleted, the frustration level is high, but they know they got to survive. They know they've got to get to 25, survive to 25. And that's the bottom line.
That's a good political call.
So,
I like that one.
So but I would give the public some hope. There's a tremendous working atmosphere on the border, in the border counties. The Border Patrol, their drone system, their boat system, their men and women on the routes. The National Guard is taking a support role for them. And getting them back into some enforcement type roles where they can at least process to the ability that the Biden administration has given them. So I'm seeing some good things on the border right now.
You know what I find interesting is the government always claims that they don't really know where these illegals go and end up. Yet this jackwagon that escaped from the Pennsylvania jail a couple of weeks back, the media had no problem finding his illegal immigrant mom and talking to her the whole time.
Right.
And our government can't keep track of him, but CNN can find his mom, who's here illegally.
Yeah, Cavalcante was just another illegal alien here, which we'll pay the price of Biden's border policies. We'll pay that price for years to come.
Bring our listeners and your supporters up to speed for where the GLO and your role with the vision of a land commissioner Buckingham, and where you view your role and how you dovetail all that together, coordinating the safety for Texas lands.
Land Commissioner Buckingham is a visionary. She has seen this and as her role of 13 million acres, of which a lot of it's on the border. We've got one of the most violent areas in the state that belongs to the GLO, and it's an island of 170 acres, and it is a hot spot. Currently, right now, there's a cartel war right across the water, which the bodies are visible from our shore. So it's
where is this land?
It's Fronton Island. It's in Starr County.
Okay.
So I've spent time there. I'm going this next week down there again, but it's very, very violent, and it's a staging area. And she has put her foot down and said, this is Texas land. It belongs to the GLO. I'm going to do what I can to protect Texans and our leases and our property owners, and she means it. So,
can you see, Ash, the sheriff showing up in the louder copter? It's an Apache or whatever that attack chopper is.
Blackhawk.
50 caliber on the nose. Wherever he turns his head, the barrel goes.
Nice.
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 As as she sees my role and what I'm doing is blending in with the resources that are down there, which are numerous. But it's a joint effort between the GLO as she cranks this thing up to a level where she's representing Texas and on GLO properties, and that's my role to integrate with those other people in there, DPS, Border Patrol, mainly local, and see how we can maximize an efficient way to protect our property down there.
That's what I'm thinking. I could visualize your role as being an experienced observer who coordinates efforts down there to say, well, if you're already doing this and they're already doing that, then both of y'all don't need to do that. Let's work more efficiently to be more effective.
Yes,
I think that's
yes.
awesome.
We've got to get our camera system up and been working on that steadily, and we've got to get some sensors in the ground, and we've got some things to do that I think will make a difference.
But more important than that, we want to know what you're going to do to secure the Alamo. That's what we want to know. How are we going to eradicate Ripley's Believe It or Not? We've got to get now. I've never had anybody.
But
really,
I don't want anybody to harm the wax statues.
No,
We've got to protect the rights of the wax statues.
That is all fixing to be torn down and redone. They're going to kind of expand the grounds of the Alamo, correct?
Oh yeah, there's going to be a large convention center right across from the front of the Alamo.
It's a profit deal.
So it's a good thing, but the entire complex, the Alamo complex, is changing, and the security, the law enforcement, as they go to full-time law enforcement, state-funded law enforcement, GLO-funded law enforcement. That's Alamo's never had that. It's always been contract security,
Right.
and they've been so now Alamo law enforcement, the Alamo is changing in that regard. So there'll be additional staffing, there'll be additional training, there'll be the requisites that come into being a Texas peace officer. So instead of a Texas security officer, two very different licenses, to say.
Right.
So that all that's taking place now, and we're on a timeline there, and that's moving forward.
How long is the process going to take?
It'll take probably realistically 2 years.
Okay.
It is interesting, though, Nash, I mean, with you being, and with no humor, with you coming here as an adult, there are other places, there are other moments more pro-Texas than the Alamo massacre. And yet the Alamo is the undisputed symbol of Texas. I mean, that the freedom or, the independence of Texas is always tied. The symbol of is always the Alamo.
It's iconic.
Yes, sir. It's priceless. And to have it,
It truly is.
you can't build a dome over it. So to have it out there like that is, well, when I was a kid, people go up and like chip off a piece of the, they were really,
Yeah.
it was pilfered and
Still happens today.
yes, sir.
Ozzy would pee on it.
Right. Phil Collins would like make up artifacts. I got this from a lady that took it from the Alamo.
Phil
Junior-
Collins had donated a lot of
He did.
a lot of money, a lot of time.
Very
money.
interesting. He had
Yep.
lots and lots involved.
Junior Sample says, I bet that Alamo complex will have a shiny new souvenir shop. Absolutely. Got to pay for the renovation somehow.
It's one of the largest buildings there.
Get a glossy 8x10 of the sheriff right there, and he'll sign it on Saturday.
Always. All
What
roads,
else is
all
happening?
roads lead to the gift shop, says BJ Nelson.
Yep. What else is happening? You got any big travel plans coming up?
Yeah, it's another border trip next week, and just more of the same now as we ramp up and a large operation coming up.
What do you make of the
October
fact?
1.
What do you make of the fact that a country like Colombia says we're going to send 1 million of our people to the U.S. this next year? Why aren't we just?
Probably not joking.
No, they're not. But why aren't we stopping that before it even begins?
You want to talk about the Biden administration and their failures?
Yeah.
Just another epic failure. It's one after another. So why they do what they do, I have no idea. I I can't even contemplate the type of decisions that come out of the White House.
Or lack thereof.
I am hopeful that whether it's Donald Trump or DeSantis, whoever, I am hoping that the next president really, really looks at this problem for what it is. I think that Governor Abbott has done really a good job of bringing awareness. I promise you the mayor of New York is like, whoa, I get it. He gets it. He may not be pro-Abbott, but he gets what's going on. You find out that the sheriff says, last week I had to go into Mexico twice. You find out he's playing 36 holes at that golf course at Lajitas where you have to hit the par 3 on the other side of the river. I took a raft across the mighty Rio Grande, putted for a par and came back.
What's interesting, you bring up the mayor of New York, but Eric Adams, with some of the phraseology that he's used in referring to the illegals that are invading New York City, Donald Trump would have used those terms, would have been labeled a racist by the media, and Eric Adams can call them anything he wants and nothing. Yeah. No criticism.
Yeah, it's a double standard.
Absolutely.
It's a free pass. We're used to that in this country, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Come to expect that.
But it is amazing, though.
Nothing but the truth from our media sources.
But what's interesting with it,
trusted media source.
Yeah.
They're still not calling for change. They're just calling for dollars. Eric Adams hasn't called for a change to the system at all. He's just asking for federal dollars to help fund the problem.
It's fair to point out that all these sanctuary cities, declared sanctuary cities, in other words, we are a sanctuary city all the years prior to this, that we believe that an open border can exist in this country, and now it's nothing but, listen to the words out of Chicago, for example. They're not sanctuary cities. They never have been. They just they established that narrative, though, that they're
made
sanctuary
them feel
cities.
good.
Yeah. So now we have a sick mess. And,
absolutely.
They don't know what to do.
Well, and like Ash said, everything's now a plea for federal dollars. I thought it was really interesting that the mayor of New York was like, we got to have, this is an emergency. We've got to have some federal funding because Abbott sent a couple of busloads up there.
Yeah.
We got millions of folks here, and many of them, maybe even the vast majority of them, are well-meaning, decent people, but they just don't have legal access to our country. They shouldn't be here. We can't feed them. We can't educate them. We can't. There's a lot of we can't educate the ones we got, much less the ones they're bringing in.
No. True story.
Crazy town.
Now you understand the numbers, right, Eric?
Yeah. No kidding.
And he still doesn't really
the numbers
understand
will get you.
Yeah. And he still doesn't really understand it.
No. Well, he understands. He just didn't want to admit that.
Well, that's the truth. And
how can we help you? What can we do here locally? We like to, think, globally and act locally. What can we do here to help you?
Y'all's role has been just great. As each day y'all come in here and talk about local, you talk about national, you inform people, and I see that as y'all's greatest gift to the local area here. It's a source of good, solid information. Y'all aren't afraid to talk about things. And that's what we got to have. We got to have a little truth in this country.
And we appreciate that. He read that right off the teleprompter, just like you typed it.
Just like we typed it. I appreciate that. Didn't ad-lib it at all.
I mean, I helped write it, and it still almost choked me up. We appreciate it.
Sounded so much better coming from Sheriff than us.
Isn't it funny if you look back? I mean, you've been with us for years now. I mean, literally years that you've been coming in, and you look back, and we're sneaking up on completing 7 years. About to start our 8th year in November, and it does seem like just yesterday, and I know that, and I mean this humbly, I don't think I've gotten any better at it. I think there's still things that just hit me right between the eyes. Ash and I made the call the other day. This will make you feel good. Ash and I made the call the other day that we do not believe that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will head the Democrat ticket at renewal time. Re-election time, we think they're going to be gone.
I think that's fair.
I think they're going to be gone. And I don't know how. I had a vision the other day of a situation where, in order to avoid impeachment, I don't want to put the country through this. I've been in D.C. for over 50 years. I'm going to step away, and in return for that, if Donald Trump agrees not to run, we will drop all future all investigations against him. Let's just King's X this deal and move forward. I could see it happening. I could see the Dems trying to broker a détente.
Yeah, you know why? Because the Dems, I don't know if there's anybody on the Republican side that could coalesce the type of support that Donald Trump gets from the right to beat a Democrat. The Democrats would be all for that because they know everybody else fractures the right.
Yeah, I can see it. I really believe something's going to happen to where Joe Biden's either going to claim a medical or claim, I've got to go take care of Hunter. My family comes first. Hunter had a relapse. Hunter bought a new gun. We're going hunting. I don't know.
That's the most graphic case of elder abuse I've ever seen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, we appreciate you. It's top of the
Absolutely.
hour.
Thank y'all very much.
Always thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
Sheriff.
Thank you, Sheriff. Appreciate it. Good to see you.
Great to get the update on Justin Marr and confirmation of everything that was going on there.
Glad that all of you stopped by to share your Friday morning and begin your weekend with us.
Please.
We appreciate
Thank
you
you.
all the time.
All the time. Have a great weekend. Support our sponsors. Oh, by the way, if you get into Paravita, tell them you heard about it on Wade and Carter. You get a 10% discount. Go try Paravita today for lunch.
Really good food. You can take it home and heat it up for dinner as well.
Absolutely.
All freshly made. Peter McNally brings something up right at the end. I'm just going to make a comment, and we can discuss more of this on Monday. But he says Nikki Haley finally went after Trump. You know what's interesting? Nikki Haley hasn't really run on her record as governor of South Carolina. She's brought up a lot of her UN stuff. Nothing on what she did to really help Americans. And I find that an interesting, probably well-contemplated decision on her campaign behalf.
Yes. Y'all have a great weekend. We love you.
Bye, folks.
Bye, folks.
Good old boys, we're all the same. Ain't no way we'll ever change.